Haven't done a proper zombie sins in quite a long time because I enjoy making analysis in these types of films, but I have a lot going on and zombie sins is way easier to write and more fun to turn my brain off to make. If you want my full deep dive into story, lore, what I loved about it and more, I'll be releasing a full review of it here soon. But despite me liking this film, there are a lot of things that kind of just fell flat or were just outright stupid. So with that all being said, let's get into the sins. Starting off with the explanation that the US government accidentally launched a weapon in the ocean near the island of Tasmania, with the resulting blast and shockwaves causing catastrophic neural failure in all living organisms within its radius, effectively killing 500,000 people in an instant and a ton of animals. To add to this, some of those affected by this weapon are described as waking up to become the undead. Extremely fascinating way to set up the zombies of this film, especially within the parameters of an island never explored by the zombie sphere. Minus 5 sins. A man asks a soldier how many of the dead have reanimated and what particularly causes them to come back from the dead. Valid to ask, but it is all ignored. Still, for people to be flown in and bust in to be interacting with all this, at least it's good to be asking questions like this. Minus another sin. Upon arriving, does the main character, Ava Newman, find a family of 3, all dead on the ground, instantly having been wiped out while sitting in the backyard doing their day-to-day stuff. The imagery of them dead, but their bodies covered in nearly blackened veins, eyes almost feral looking and pale, as if the mind tried to zombify the body, but the unknown criteria for their brain to come back was not met. Plus, seeing them in their day-to-day lives with water flowing and everything, it is just really cool. Still, seeing a hint of the undead in this way is unique and chilling. Minus another 2 sins. As volunteers see the reality of 500,000 dead bodies, we see genuine human reaction. Some fleeing to go back home, vomiting, or tapping out. This is not a heroic, romanticized zombie affair. People flying in going, yeah, we're gonna have us some fun. Yeah, no rules, no law. It's the brutal aftermath of one of the most horrific accidents in human history. So, minus another sin. I gotta say, for once, it feels completely within reason why every single house is abandoned or left to rot in one of these zombie flicks. Not some skimmed over and half-assed explanation of, oh, we lost to the dead, it was over in seconds. This was a human EMP basically. Total genocide, no survivors, and now we see the aftermath and basically environmental storytelling in each household with these dead bodies. Minus and yet another sin. The army is genuinely expecting 2 people to haul this doctor now patient out by themselves? That is asinine. What if Big Bertha here goes full Dawn of the Dead 2004 on their asses? The military has been pretty particular about how the zombies are extremely violent when they come back, so you think they would give people some kind of defenses. We get more interesting encounters and banter from the people. One says that a zombie's head was blown off, but since a piece of the brain was still intact within a person's neck, that the zombie stayed alive like that old headless chicken story. That and a mother finding her dead son begging him to wake up. Genuinely, small scenes like this and conversations that we hear in the background are what give the dead and their world some flavor. It is great. It feels like I'm in a zombie RPG. Awesome. I'm taking off another sin. Now, while Ava dreams of kids she ain't ever getting, a woman across the road lights a flare upon seeing a deadie. Then, seconds later, Aussie soldiers kill it. This is really an efficient way to go about taking care of any living dead. Although sending in unarmed civilians with no weapons seems a bit haphazard, but at least they have some kind of system instead of just saying, go about it. If you see anything, just let us know. One more sin off the counter. Clay and Ava discover a zombie hiding in a garage. This shot, the lighting, it drenched in oil or dried blood or whatever it is. This zombie is like a deer in the headlights. It's really well done and makes you wonder more about them, and it's just really cool. It makes goosebumps come up on your skin. I really like it. It's not like the other dead that we know that attack on sight, and Ava even sees that there is more to them than both what the zombie media to us says and what the Australian government says to them. Minus another sin. done. Then we get this shot of piles of dead bodies just being shoveled into unmarked graves. It is realistically great. You got tons of bodies. There's just not enough time to go and burn them because that would just be a whole thing. So you might say we bury the dead. Minus another sin. Okay, now we're going to start getting into stupid territory. That night, as volunteers party it up to take their minds off everything at the compound, Ava makes plans to escape to find her husband. She is here purely to find him since right before the incident, he was on a business trip to the city of Woodbridge on the south part of Tasmania, way into the quarantine zone of the island where apparently there are way more violent dead. She is stationed in Hobart where the cleanup efforts have started on the north end of the island. Anything south is considered to be too dangerous for civilians to be going through right now. Too bad the Australian government did not account for one strong-willed American woman. Nothing beats that. A soldier busts her for trying to sneak out of the compound at night and just guides her back in. Should probably have her on watch since she's the only one doing this, but no chance she's gonna do it again. No way she's a repeat offender, huh? She meets up with her recent dead drop buddy Clay during the events of the party. She says her hubby might still be alive out there after seeing the oiled up and bug-eyed garage zombie and wants to sneak out. Luckily for them, this motorcycle just falls in their laps, fully gassed, in perfect working condition, and the keys available as well. Cool ass scene of a party that was shut down when everyone's brains were shut down. Lop off a sin. In a room full of dead and decaying bodies where any of them can turn in a moment's notice, homeboy here decides to do a line of sugar that's just been sitting there around dead and possibly infected bodies. No concern of contamination or surroundings. Imagine this is how a zombie virus starts. Instead of a kiss, we do hard drugs. I mean, hard candy. You see dude just slamming beers and doing lines and you're like, yeah, I can trust him to drive me to my dead husband in the middle of zombie-infested territory and past armed guards. The pink-haired stripper reawakens to stare at her own reflection. I mentioned this in my analysis of the movie, but I love the concept. But then it just does nothing. Nobody does anything. The zombies, the survivors, or anything. They just move on from it. Like, yes, I get what they're going for, hinting at zombie sentience and docileness or something, but come on. Why the zombie stripper gotta tease? Well, I mean, that's their job. I mean, something has to happen in this movie, right? They are able to move themselves and a fully functional, fully sized motorcycle outside quarantine with not a single volunteer, soldier, or helicopter overhead spotting them. They are driving at top speed with cars all over the road. You would think more cars would have ended up off-road instead of having slowed down to a perfect angled stop in the middle of the highway, but I guess it's just to give the characters some lukewarm action shots synced up to some copyrighted music. You are in illegal territory with apparently violent zombies out there. It is a bit lame we don't get any dead coming out to the sound of the motorcycle, not even in the distance. Just scattered remains of all these drivers on the road and loads of dead cattle. Asinine to be playing quick time events with immobile cars, and I'm just disappointed that there's not more zombies popping up. Clay spots an armed patrol unit in the distance. They hide behind some cars and somehow the unit didn't hear or spot them. I remind you, this is a patrol unit looking for living dead to execute. Any movement or sound from far away would immediately alert them. But nah, the loud-ass motorcycle in the middle of an open land that has literally no sentient life, including insects to make noise, would definitely be heard and even be seen here. If you see any movement whatsoever, that means something is not supposed to be there. Oh, but this one-armed wonder zombie spots them and just stares at them and still nothing? Maybe dude just wants a hug because he has one arm and wants to feel a heartbeat. Ah, that's why this one zombie within a 200-mile radius existed. So he could be a distraction for them, just staring at them, doing nothing. It's so the Australian soldiers would shoot him and move on. I guess Australian soldiers must not have object permanence. Here's their line of reasoning. We see a zombie, we got him. Uh-oh, we saw some people driving in the distance, but they disappeared out of our line of sight. I guess they didn't exist in the first place. Oh well. Further down the road, we get to a part of the map with a fog of war, the part of the island and the town of Hobart devastated by the fiery part of the US detonation. They go into this billowing cloud of smoke and ash, unprepared and panic to find masks. Y'all can plan to go through an area covered in smoke and nuclear detonation, but can't bring anything to avoid smoke inhalation? They're able to find some masks miraculously just by stumbling on an emergency clinic, good for them, and then I guess they hear a zombie grickling its teeth going and it just has them staring at us, the audience, and that's it. Oh, never mind. A halfling just kind of snooped up there from the emergency clinic with its guts pulling out. Cool. Reverse that lesson and take one off. Sure, why not? They get on top of a hill and see just how bad the US detonation was. This is a really cool scene. While cool though, you would think traversing these lands would be way less manageable than they're making it look. Forgetting this whole scene, they stop at a gas station and then see a dead body. They don't poke at it or make sure it's fully dead. They just leave it be without even giving it a second glance. What if that thing comes alive and attacks you? Whatever, no double tap. For a place that is closer to a blast site like we saw, it sure is in perfect tact with no busted windows or anything. They just chill for a while and talk about their lives without checking the place out thoroughly for dead or soldiers patrolling the area. While looking at his tats, a zombie with a peg leg comes strutting in silently. You didn't hear him at all? Just gonna sit there and let him approach you? Especially when this is the first ever zombie you have seen that shows signs of aggression like this. Instead of just sitting there staring like a kid watching Cocomelon, do something. I mean, okay, you grabbed a lamp, but come on. Thankfully, a soldier that I mentioned just randomly shows up in the nick of time to headshot it, Deus Ex Machina style. How lucky. The soldier states that the longer a zombie is alive, the more agitated and violent they get. Interesting note for this zombie type. -1 sin. Despite having been shot in the head, the zombie still lives and moves around, albeit very limitedly. Interesting premise that the entire brain must be destroyed to fully kill them. Headshot, another sin. The soldier locks Ava and Clay up in separate rooms till he knows what to do with them. Ava has a flashback in the bathtub, and I'm sorry, goddamn, is this soundtrack grating the fuck out of me. I swear someone's playing My Singing Monsters in the other room with this going on. The next morning, the soldier tells Ava that Clay ran away and ditched them when he was supposed to be taking a piss break. What's the plan here, running off solo on a literal dead island of soldiers looking to execute anything that moves and zombies that can kill on sight? Thankfully for Ava, the soldier Riley has a soft spot for her situation and just says, well, one guy ditched you, I'll take you the rest of the way. Might get court-martialed, but hey, I've experienced death too. Bro, everyone else has too. You are not unique in this situation. There was 500,000 people that died on the island, and the island is still on fire with dead people popping up everywhere. What do you mean? Riley randomly stops at a house and says he wants to cook for her. Bitch, run. They head inside and have a meal, explaining about both of their spouses. Riley having to bury his pregnant wife, saying him finding her changed things for the better for him, so he wanted to do the same for Ava, basically saying at least he got some closure. A decent motive for characters and for the soldier to be basically going AWOL. While it's not the most sane thing, I guess we can court-martial one sin. Before they leave, Riley asks Ava to dress as his dead wife to slow dance with her with earbuds on, listening to their favorite song. Thankfully, she grabs a pair of scissors, but this request is mad. Dude's obviously unwell. Perfect time to pull a Clay, kinda second guessing sitting him earlier, and try to dip out with the car. But nah, screw that. Let's go dance with the crazy guy and envision my dead hubby again. So you take part in this. Okay, the dude's mentally unwell and looks like he's gonna show up at your front door and ring your bell. He sees you not wearing his dead wife's wedding ring and starts devolving right in front of you. Put on the wedding ring, get past this stupid dance, and when it's over, ask to go to the restroom and GTFO. The dude is more dangerous than the undead. Do not provoke him. She bashes his head with a lamp and runs into her room to find his dead pregnant wife in there, just strewn out on the bed, candles everywhere, pictures all over the place, but she's just staring at the side of it, listening to him ramble through the door about how the dead that come back are the ones with unfinished business. Yeah, sure, buddy. Girl, I know you go out the window a little bit later, but why wait until he starts slamming the door to do so? The second I saw this, I would have been out that window instantaneously. She realizes she will need the car keys and finagles a window before slamming the front door open as loudly as possible. Way to give away your location. Why would you do that? Damn, what I would give for a zombie right now to get around this stupidity. Oh well, that shut me up. Ava going in the barn has Riley reveal he has a horde of zombies chained up inside, studying them on his own and listing stats and results on each one, charting it as a person's defining characteristics like hair or age, their height and weight, how long it took for them to reanimate, and notable observations like anger, teeth grinding, and even speech. Honestly, pretty sick this dude is actually doing his research. -1 sin. Although keeping a horde of rotting zombies in a barn just hundreds of feet away from where you sleep probably is not the best idea in the world. These things can live as long as part of the brain is intact, so who's to say they won't pull at their chains enough to where their hands rot off or pulled off or just fleshed off and they get out to attack and kill you in your sleep. Ava plays into his insane descent by appearing and acting like his dead wife, playing into this so well that she draws him close and stabs him in the neck with some scissors to get the keys. Way to play into his hardcore copium. You sure you're a physical therapist and not a psychotherapist? Anyways, cut 1 sin. She gets in the car and when the headlights come on, ding dong, the witch isn't dead. The pregnant wife is standing there menacingly, holding her stomach. Oh, for fuck's sake, not again. Stop with the pregnant chicks in zombie movies. God, I get it. The antithesis, the birth, and the linearity of death. I get what you're trying to go for. You know, I'm gonna make a whole damn solo video about pregnant women and zombie apocalypses because I just hate the idea of it. Yes, I get the narrative significance. I'm going to be talking about that in my analysis coming out soon, but speaking through a zombie sins perspective, stop. Get some help. I swear, if a zombie baby appears later in this movie, I'm going to fucking lose it. +5 sins. So she dropped her wedding ring and realized how crazy this pursuit for her dead husband is because of how Riley currently is. Again, I discussed this in my other video, my analysis on We Buried the Dead, over how the living and dead are embodiments of the 5 stages of grief, and how Riley was her if she kept up this pursuit to such an insane degree. But she decides, it's fine, let's keep trying to find the hubby, we're already this far anyways, and get more balls deep into the south end of the Tasmania. Side note, the zombies were just chilling in the barn despite Riley saying they were all mostly violent at this point, as he has made it clear on the chalkboard and himself. But we really did not get any sign of those violent tendencies with the zombies that were chained up right behind Ava. Just them gawking and being background pieces for 2 minutes, and that was it. I understand when the government says they are violent, and we doubt it because we don't ever see them, but when a guy that's obsessively been out here by himself, that has been shown to observe them and record his findings, for him to say it and then it not to be betrayed here at all, it kinda deflates the tension of these undead. She drives for a while and then passes out at the wheel for some Z's, with the driver window wide open. Are you not concerned about anything just grabbing you through the car window while you are unconscious? Remember how I mentioned cars perfectly parking themselves in the road at a perfect angle like they drove to a gentle stop? not that they were suddenly killed and just everything went to hell. Yeah, well, this truck did just that, just to make sure any main characters have to get out on foot. 100% that huge-ass vehicle would have plowed through those nearby trees. But whatever it takes for a survivor to get out of their perfectly running vehicle to walk the rest of the way, Dark Carnival style. At least she has an axe to defend herself. And cheers for putting on a hat you found. I would imagine keeping yourself shaded would mean less fatigue from the sun. Small bits like this are key to survival. -1 sin. You have 40 kilometers to go. You probably should have snagged some food and water from the house before you dipped. You turn this shit into the long walk, basically. She walks through a bunch of wreckage, stepping on broken glass loud as hell. While I appreciate the scenery that the movie is setting up with the washed up plane wreckage and dead gulls on the road, why would you even walk through areas making noise like this? You would have to assume that the undead have come back here, and if the violent tendencies are a thing, you would not want to test fate like that. And this zombie spawns behind her, behind this vehicle, like a Left 4 Dead Special Infected, and is able to make less noise than she did walking up. I know this zombie be tippy-toeing behind her, but seriously, she could not hear him, especially with all that jaw cracking he be doing? She immediately drops her weapon to run away. You folded under the first sign of pressure that you ever had with a zombie by yourself. Good job. She goes inside a bus and frantically runs through it like an obstacle course, putting herself into a shit situation by crawling in there. She grabs a fire extinguisher from the front of the bus and smacks the deadie in the face once, and it kills over, eye sagging out. The whole shebang. Good work. Girl, don't just stare at it like he just whipped out a $5 footlong. Double tap that motherfucker! And it comes back to life. Who would have saw that coming? Yeah, cool shot though. I'm gonna be real with you. You've heard that they can live with just barely any brains left, like a headless chicken. You might just want to cave that shit in. Screw double tap, try all tap. She screams at the top of her lungs once that bitch is dead. What a good idea. The sound of broken glass attracted one zombie. I'm sure you dealing with the threat you were warned about and being alone with won't summon a dozen more zombies. And it doesn't, as she continues walking to find an RV that she quickly and loudly slams the door open and enters with no precaution whatsoever. She gently brings out 4 dead bodies so she can sleep in the RV. Probably should double tap each head before going to rest though. She wakes up to see the dad of the family has been reanimated and is digging a hole. Understanding he has no violent tendencies, she helps him dig and bury his family before he allows her to kill him and bury him. Really neat exchange for a zombie and something really new in a zombie medium. -1 sin. She makes it to the resort her husband was staying at when he died. We get a cool shot of a yoga class, all dead, looking like they are all praying to the image of bending over and taking it in the taxpayer. She sees a singular zombie trying to get inside and just leaves it be. Girl, you got ambushed once. At least try and nip this in the bud before she attacks. She finds her husband's room and finds out that he was cheating on her with his wedding ring off, spending the journey thinking their unfinished business of talking about his cheating and not having a baby together would awaken him from his dead slumber. But he remains dead. Really well made idea to have a person think because of her unfinished business with him that he must come back to settle it. That's just not how life works sometimes, and such a creative way to use zombies and their reanimation methods to emphasize that. -2 sins. Lucky for her that as she is about to break down, Clay appears out of nowhere across the country. She confides in the abandoner that maybe if she woke up her dead husband after banging another dude because he banged another woman, that they could fix things and go back to normal and then have a baby together. It sounds insane, but the movie is about coping and grief. People can say that it's stupid she did that, but people do stupid things because of grief. Hell, Clay came to the island himself to prove to his ex-wife and child that he can be selfless. But not really proving that when you go and do lines of coke near dead bodies and then disappear into a restricted zone. I don't think you're really proving that. Regardless, it is neat character development for a zombie flick. Flashback, another sin. To decompress from dealing with all of this, they go back to the resort to party, swim, drink, and indulge. Ava sees the dead from earlier that was on the other side of the glass pane, but now she is on the same side as it, and it waited this long to attack them, and the one that she ignored to get blitzed, and now here it comes blitzing them. Good job for not nipping that in the bud. She vents her frustration from all of this by pummeling the living hell out of this zombie's head. If only you did that to other dead prior. The both of them pass out, and the next day she spots a painting of a Viking funeral. This is weird for a resort to have hanging in their bedroom. But whatever, it gives her the idea to go and send her dead hubby off on a boat to burn. I get you're trying to do symbolic stuff for yourself, but the guy was a cheater who did not give a shit about you. Why give him the most badass way to go in our world? Doesn't make any sense. Also, why are you putting yourself and someone else in a vulnerable position by both being hung over and carrying your dead husband's body down a flight of stairs? You're just asking for a zombie to attack. Making their way back up north to the place where everyone is, they are stopped by a zombie. And not just any zombie, the pregnant zombie Katie from earlier. Clay suggests that they go around her, but nah, symbology needs to happen. Ava gets out to find Katie is no longer preggo, with some ragu all over her dress signifying that, oh no. Oh, no, please, God, no. Just like the dad zombie from earlier, she does not attack them, but turns around to guide them. Oh no. Ava is rushing towards this broken place, and we hear a baby crying. Oh, fuck no. Oh, God damn it. It's a fresh bouncing baby. No, he fucking called it. And I hate when I call it when it comes to this kind of crap. Come on, man. Seriously, that human potato was baking in a corpse for who knows how long, and it still came out perfectly fine and healthy, even less bloody than most babies straight out of the womb, and Ava just picks it up like, oh, I earned this. I wanted one of these, as if you're adopting a kitten. How the fuck did this baby survive? In a womb version of a tauntaun. Do not give me that spiel about unfinished business so the mom's body kept feeding it on the inside. I don't want to hear it. It is stupid as hell. You want to know something? This is dumber than both the zombie baby in Dawn of the Dead 2004, the zombie baby in Army of the Dead, and hell, even zombie baby squishing scene in Rise of the Zombies. A rather beautiful movie with lackluster zombie action leads up to this as its climax. What? God, no, this is stupid. How did it survive? You know what? Fuck you. Double the sins.
Wow.